My name is Cenon Caramanzana, and I'm a recent graduate of Pueblo West High School in Southern Colorado. In the fall, I plan to continue my education at the Ivy League's Columbia University in the city of New York, where I wish to pursue an education in political science. The last 4 years of high school allowed me to jump into the world of speech and debate and to recognize the importance of using our voices to create change in the world. I would first like to thank the Denver Urban Debate League. I was humbled when they asked me to create a video on what it means to become a successful speaker and to provide you all with the basic principles of public speaking. First, some people may think it's cliche to say that speech and debate recognizes the importance of using our voices as students to create change in the world. However, this is not a cliche. This is an understatement. You as a student who is interested in joining speech and debate is entering a world that values open discourse, builds self-confidence, and allows you as a student to explore ideas that you may not be able to explore in the regular classroom environment. One lesson that I learned from speech and debate that will stick with me for the rest of my life is the discussion about nerves. Talking in front of people is terrifying, and for some, a great fear. And I was one of those students when I first entered high school. However, thanks to speech and debate and some encouragement from my fellow classmates and teachers and coaches in the speech and debate community, I quickly learned that I was capable of using my voice to empower others and inspire them to also speak up. One of my coaches told me that if you're nervous, it's a good thing, because it means you care. If you're not nervous, it means you don't care or you feel so overly prepared that you don't need to practice anymore. But that isn't the case. Even after 4 years of competing in hundreds of rounds, I still get nervous every time I often get asked the question from other students and other coaches, on Cenon, how do you become a successful speaker? And frankly, there's not one answer. Yes, it takes time and dedication and practice, but you have to be willing to try new things. If you close yourself off into a closed door of restricted mobility and accessibility to information, the truth is that you will not be successful. It's about you being open and vulnerable to the world to be able to express ideas and concerns, share thoughts to others in a time that you need to overcome the surmountable abilities. Throughout the remainder of this video, I will be providing insight into each of the speech events offered by the Denver Urban Debate League, as well as go through the basic guidelines that they are able to assist you with. The world of speech and debate is complex and often misleading, misguided, or there are many misconceptions that students form based on things they hear from others. But I'm here to break it down for you. Specifically, through the Denver Urban Debate League, they offer insight into original oratory speaking, poetry, dramatic and humorous interpretation. When I think of becoming a successful speaker in speech and debate, one word comes to mind: passion. You as the student have to be passionate about the topics you are speaking about, have to become passionate about them, or express passions that you have for different ideas throughout your life. There are some topics that you will not want to discuss, but find the ones that you are passionate about and go for them. Because if you're inspired and passionate about it, the judges and other audience members can read those emotions through your words that you're expressing to them. Because if you're not passionate about them, the audience will not be passionate about it. I would personally argue that speech and debate is theatrical, specifically in terms of public speaking. When you are in dramatic interpretation, humorous interpretation, informative speaking, original oratory or poetry, that classroom or the room that you're competing in is your stage. Your voice is the key to open the doors to the world of imagination, creativity, and inspiration. The first event that I will be speaking about is original oratory speaking. The Denver Urban Debate League follows the same rules as CHASA. However, the main topics covered by students typically in competition are more about their own personal lived experiences rather than topics that they choose or hear about from newspaper articles or any other source of information. Original oratory speaking, most oftenly referred to as OO, is a persuasive speech used by the student to create passion that they derive from their own lived experiences. OO allows you to explore a facet of your own life that you want to persuade others about, whether that's ranging from a topic you learned in school, something you're very passionate about at home, or something you hear about in the news that greatly impacts your own personal life. The second event that I will be discussing is the Denver Urban Debates League version of poetry. Their version of poetry is drastically different from CHASA's in terms of the flexibility and originality of the entire event. They give students the option to write their own slam poetry or their own personal write of poetry to perform under a 7-minute grace period. The poetry topics can surround a central theme that you are passionate about and follow it through multiple works in which you want to put together as yourself to be original, to write your own pieces to perform. It's a great way for you to practice your writing skills, creativity, and show others what you are capable of. Because many of you underestimate the power of students' writing, because you have it, it's within you. Dramatic interpretation is the competition event in which students use published pieces of work, not created by the student, from a published author. Students have 10 minutes and 30 seconds to complete their entire performance and must include the author and the title of their entire piece within the presentation, so that the judges are aware of the piece that's being used and interpreted throughout the entire competition event. Although memorization is not required, it is strongly encouraged. Not only will it allow you to focus on your overall presentation, but you'll be more interested in creating a connection between the audiences and the judges, because you are not following a script that may cause you to have more problems during your performance. You should always practice and become comfortable with the piece, and over time, try to steer away from using the script, because the memorization, once you have it down, really adds significant value into the overall effect and beauty of the entire piece together. And that goes for all events. Dramatic interpretation is inclusive to dramatic content, whereas humorous interpretation uses humorous content depending on the style that the writing is written in. You can either enter as a single competitor or in a duo with an additional partner for your performance. Lastly, the Denver Urban Debate League offers impromptu speaking, in which they allocate 7 minutes to the student to use no more than 5 minutes during their speech, so they are able to divide the speech time between preparation period and the overall speech. For all categories, including all the speech ones I just talked about, there are many questions that you can ask yourself as a student in order to become a very successful speaker. 1. Is the material that you have chosen or written appropriate for you as the speaker? Does it fit your personality type, your characteristics? Are you comfortable presenting this information? Take some time for yourself to write down thoughts about who you are as a person in order to successfully determine what topics you feel comfortable about speaking about or about adapting to interpret. Secondly, as I've said multiple times throughout this video, are you passionate about it? Not because your coach told you it would be the best topic out there, but you as a student want to teach others about it, you want to perform the piece. That is significantly important throughout the entire process in order for you to be successful. Even if the topic is one of the most popular ones done in the world and you know that it will be successful, you cannot be successful for yourself if you're not passionate about it. Not only is the vocal presentation one of the most highly judged parts of speech and debate, the physical appearance is also another one. Your eye contact throughout the entire performance. Facial expressions. Do your words match your facial expressions? Are you creating gestures that are purposeful and not ways of expressing nerves? Do you have a presence as a speaker? When you're up in the front of the stage or in front of the classroom, are you able to command an audience, to put your attention on yourself, because you are delivering a piece that others want to hear about, because you have the powerful voice for them to understand and create a connection between you, your piece, and themselves. Some of the additional elements that help to create a successful speaker are the little sections within a piece that add the additional distance between a regular piece to making the piece a wonderful performance. Many students enter the phase of writer's block when they begin their stages into speech and debate because they don't know what to do. What I would recommend is to carry a journal around with you wherever you go, to begin writing down any thoughts that you may have throughout the day. Maybe it's what you had for breakfast. Maybe it's something you heard interesting on the radio, or any other piece of small information that could be the beginning stepping stone for you to create a piece off of it. For example, when I did dramatic interpretation, I found my piece by listening to an author speak on the radio. Or, for informative speaking, I was able to find my piece by sitting down at my desk for a very long period of time, then realizing that, maybe I want to talk about the science and history behind sitting throughout cultures, and that's exactly what I did, but I wrote it down. Writing down these small ideas may seem like a useless tool at the beginning. However, in the end, you can go back to it and find many different topic areas for you to discuss. I also encourage you to look up different videos online of other students' performances, just so you have a better idea and understanding of what potential aspects there are to creating a powerful speaker. There are many videos online for free that you can access in order to view different events and styles and performances of speakers. These resources were very helpful for me when I first began joining speech and debate. When students begin to write their piece and enter the phase of memorization, they often struggle with learning exactly how to memorize this load of words together into a speech, whether it be 7 or 10 minutes. For me, studying the piece while I'm in the shower is very successful and very helpful tool. Some people think it's silly, but I'm able to either laminate my pieces in my speech, and when I'm in the shower, it's a great place for me to relax and read it. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what works for me. For others, recording the speech and listening to it on loop is another great way to learn how to memorize your entire speech. Others will use flashcards and write them down, and there's other people who will take their speech and read it sentence by sentence and continue to add a sentence once they've memorized each one. There's very different methods out there for you to try, but I encourage you to try different ones to see which ones work best for you. The sooner you start writing your piece and begin practicing, the faster you will be able to memorize it and feel comfortable walking into your very first round of competition. During this, the mirror will be your best friend. When you're practicing, it's always great to look at yourself in the mirror. These are basic acting techniques in the world of theatrical arts that can easily be applied into speech, because ultimately you are the actor or performer in any case, whether you are interpreting a piece of literature or performing your own piece. You're always using skills that you learn on a stage for you to project, to build character, to build emotion, to be realistic and real, but to create an environment that the audience is inspired and intrigued by your performance. Use the mirror to look at yourself, to look at your facial expressions, your mouth shape, your vowels, and record yourself to see what it sounds like. Because maybe you think it sounds one way and you want it to sound that way, but then when you listen to it, maybe it's not exactly how you want it to sound. So take the time to practice, and I know many people do not like to hear the sound of their own voice, but take that time because it's going to be very helpful. Planning and brainstorming is a critical tool that you should use in order to create the most perfect piece for yourself. Whether you're using a published piece or writing your own, it's always great to have the entire text with you if you're using the published piece, or to save every single draft that you write for your own piece. Although you may not like a section of your writing at the beginning of the year, it could be a great piece to go back to add when you're editing and changing your piece throughout the year. When looking at the overall published piece, take the entire work and read through the entire piece to make sure you find a selection of the published piece that you like the most. Maybe at first you really like the first 2 chapters of this book, but at the end, there could be chapter 17 that could add an immense new level of rhetoric and diction into your piece that the judges will appreciate. So read through the entire thing, take notes about it, write down the entire transcript of the piece so it's easy to refer back to later when you're making adjustments for your piece. Before a competition, allow other students, teachers, community members to listen to your speech. Whether you're at church, maybe ask one of the other community members to listen to it, give you feedback, ask teachers to listen to it, your best friends, and if you're nervous, even your pets. Give your speech to your dog. It's a great way for you just to have the muscle memory of doing it, but you're also practicing. But it is really nice to get written feedback from someone who could give you constructive criticism for you to apply to your piece, and maybe they could ultimately help you become a more powerful speaker. It's always okay to change events. Maybe you start off in original oratory speaking and quickly learn that that style of speaking is not suited for you, but then you decide to change to another event. There is no harm in doing that. For example, as I've already previously mentioned, freshman year I did dramatic interpretation, then switched into informative speaking because that style of speaking suited me best. I felt more comfortable in that event and inspired by listening to other students, and I really wanted people to learn about my topic, one that I think others might overlook. When I first entered speech and debate, I needed to find a healthy balance between my schoolwork, other extracurricular activities, and speech and debate. In order to be successful, you have to practice. It just doesn't come naturally. You have to set aside time for yourself to practice, to ponder new ideas and thoughts, and to readjust your piece throughout the entire season, not just at the beginning, because say it's October and you start your piece, by December, there should be pieces that have changed in your performance or to perfect them. There's always ways to improve it. When you get ballots back from judges, use that advice as a possibility to change your piece. You don't always have to go for their advice, but think about it. See if you can apply it. Maybe there's one judge who says something and then there's another judge who disagrees with that judge, and that's okay. Everyone views pieces differently. Never become discouraged, but always be open for advice from others. You never know what they may say about your piece. Speech and debate will provide you with a healthy, inclusive form of competition for you to strive to be the best speaker that you can possibly be. It will improve your writing skills. It will improve your ability to form rhetoric to inspire others. It will allow you to articulate ideas more clearly to other people, and it will allow you to feel more comfortable speaking in front of other people. At first, it may not be easy, but over time, your skills will change drastically. And it's okay if you're not a freshman this year or if you want to start junior year. It's never too late to join speech and debate. Remember, if you are nervous, it means you care, and that's a good thing, because you are passionate. I wish you all the best of luck as you begin your journey into speech and debate, and hope that you will never be afraid to ask for help and get assistance from others, whether that's other students, alumni from your school, or other coaches. They're always there to help you. There's lots of questions that may arise throughout the entire process, but people have answers around you. Never be afraid to ask. Your voice is a very powerful tool, but you just have to be willing to use it to inspire others. Because once you do that, you will be on the stepping stone to create the world a better place by using your voice, no matter what event you decide to do. Speech and debate is so much more than a form of competition or a platform to use your voice. It is an event that allows you to create lifelong lessons and skills that you will carry with you and apply into your everyday life. I wish you all the best of luck as you begin your journey. And remember, don't ever be afraid to ask for help. Best of luck to all of you, and good luck in all of your adventures.